Step into my garage. It's not fancy, cluttered with tools, paint cans, and enough dust to suggest it's been untouched for decades. But this is where dreams are built, where rust turns to glory. And in the center of this chaotic sanctuary stood my newest challenge, a 1980 Chevrolet Citation. To call it a car would be generous. Rust consumed the body, the paint was peeling like old wallpaper, and the interior, well, let's just say it looked like it had hosted a family of raccoons. Still, there was something about it. Under all the grime and decay was a story, and that story was mine to uncover. My companion for this wild ride? Kiwi, my green parrot, who perched near the workbench, her head tilted with curiosity, as if silently judging my decision to take on this heap of metal. She let out a loud squawk as I grabbed a wrench, which I took as her vote of no confidence. The first challenge came when I popped the hood. What greeted me looked more like a sculpture made of grease, rust, and despair than an engine. Wires hung loosely, bolts were frozen in place, and every surface seemed to be caked in layers of filth. My first attempt to loosen a bolt ended in frustration. My second snapped it clean off. Kiwi squawked again. "Thanks for the support, Kiwi," I muttered. For days, the car fought back. Rust clung stubbornly to every surface, paint flaked off unevenly, and no matter how much I scrubbed, it seemed like I was making no progress. I sanded until my arms felt like jelly and replaced parts that seemed beyond saving. One night, I accidentally spilled an entire can of primer, coating half the garage floor and Kiwi's perch. She stared at me, unimpressed, while I frantically tried to clean up the mess. But slowly, progress began to show. The first victory was cleaning a seat enough to reveal its original color. Faded, yes, but still alive under decades of grime. Then came the day I installed new tires. Lowering the car back onto the ground, it almost looked proud, like it knew it was coming back to life. And then, the big moment, turning the key after installing the new engine components. The first sputter of life was music to my ears. Kiwi, startled by the sound, flapped her wings and squawked loudly. Painting the car was another adventure. I decided on a bold red, classic and confident. Shaking the paint felt satisfying until I realized I had accidentally sprayed a streak across my shirt and Kiwi's perch. Kiwi let out an indignant cry, and I spent the next hour cleaning up, laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. The interior was the final frontier. Worn seats were replaced, the dashboard was cleaned, and the clutter from years past was cleared away. But the biggest surprise came when I found a hidden compartment. Inside were old photographs, handwritten notes, and a small locket. The photos showed a young couple smiling against scenic backdrops, their joy practically glowing off the paper. The locket held a tiny, faded photo of the same coup. Holding those mementos in my hand, I felt a connection to the car I hadn't expected. This wasn't just a vehicle, it had been part of someone's life, their memories. I carefully arranged the mementos on the dashboard, feeling like I was honoring its past while giving it a new future. Finally, the big day arrived, the first drive. I slid into the now restored driver's seat, gripping the wheel with excitement. Kiwi hopped onto the dashboard, her head tilting as if to say, "Well, let's see if it was worth it." With a deep breath, I turned the key. The engine roared to life, not a weak cough, but a full, powerful growl. As I eased the car out of the garage, sunlight caught the polished surface, making the red paint gleam like fire. The tires crunched on the driveway as I pulled onto the road. The wind rushed through the open windows, the sun set the horizon ablaze, and for the first time, the Citation wasn't just a car, it was a masterpiece, a resurrection. Kiwi squawked happily, flapping her wings as we cruised through the quiet neighborhood. Driving that car was like stepping back in time. Every hum of the engine, every bump in the road felt alive. It wasn't just about fixing up an old car, it was about the journey, the sweat, the setbacks, and the triumphs. When we returned to the garage, I stepped out and turned to admire the Citation. It was no longer a rusted heap of metal. It was a story. Its story. My story. Kiwi tilted her head, letting out one final approving squawk. And in that moment, standing in the warm glow of the setting sun, I realized something. Restoration isn't just about cars. It's about finding beauty in the forgotten, purpose in the broken, and joy in the process. And if you're lucky, maybe even a squawking parrot to cheer you on along the way.